up today, guys? Brian here. How we doing? Hope everybody's doing okay during all this crisis. The COVID thing going on. It sucks. Please take care of yourselves. Going to get that out of the way right off the bat. Remember, social distancing. Anyway, today, what am I doing today? Well, I've already got started working on the four-wheeler today, working on the exhaust. One thing that I did get in the mail today, the exhaust gasket for the header. So we got that. So I can get that back on. Once that's back on, I can start putting the front plastics back on. This thing will start looking like a four-wheeler again. Moving right along. I'm going to take you outside here with me. Well, I already got started on it. I already got started painting the exhaust. I got it all ground down the other day. And no, I didn't do a video grinding. Sorry. I didn't have what I wanted to use on it. I just had to use a wire wheel. And, excuse me, that worked out. I got all the rust off of it. And it's probably a good thing that I did this when I did, because this thing, I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to show you where I've already painted. But if you can see, it's like pitting where it's rusted, where it was rusted pretty bad. It's kind of pitted looking. And I took it down. You can come on down here. The rest of it, see, this is good and smooth. But of course, around each end where it gets the hottest, where it enters and where it exits, that's, you know, the hottest. But so far it's turned out really good. I do have a little bit more to paint. I have to paint this bottom. I was waiting on this part up here to dry, which it's good and dry now, so I can flip it over, and I got to paint the tailpipe end of it, if you want to call it. But the header is done. It's looking really good. I taped all this off so I didn't get this cover. I got this cover cleaned up pretty good. And no, I didn't take it off because of these bands. These bands, I didn't have anything to replace that other than putting hose clamps on it. No, I really didn't want to put hose clamps on it. But this end, it turned out really good. I did tape off the very ends because there is a gasket there. And it didn't come off. So I didn't try to remove it, so that way it's not cracked or broken or anything, so I didn't have to replace it. But I'm going to lay this piece inside, and then I'll set you up, and we'll finish painting the end of this thing, and we'll kind of go from there. I got my proper PPE here. I got me some rubber gloves. I got my mask. The paint I'm using is VHT, very high temperature, flame proof, header paint. And it says silica ceramic coating. So I'm hoping that this stuff works really good. I picked this up at Advance. What was this? This was $10.99 a can. Wished it would have been a little bit cheaper, but you know, it is what it is. But let me get you set up here, and I'll get my stuff on, and we'll try to finish painting this thing. How's that sound? I'll set you here on the little tractor. And we'll see how that goes. There we go, that's scary enough for you? We'll let that dry. The rest of it I've already painted. The rest of the can, the top of it and all that. And it has about 3 coats on it. I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to take it inside here where it's a little warmer, and let this dry, and I'll shoot another couple coats on that, and we'll go from there. I'd like to get this put on tonight, but I don't know. I might let it set up, at least till tomorrow, and then go from there. So we'll let it sit here and see how it does. It's getting cool. It's not too bad right yet, but we'll see what it does here. We'll just let it sit here and chill out a little bit. I do have another bracket on the four-wheeler. I'm gonna take you in and show you while we're doing that. Oh yeah, before that, let me change subject. The little Kubota here. This is our grass cutting little machine here to cut around the farm. Which we have the bigger one with the brush hog that we cut these big fields here with. But this little sucker, before we got the big one, this was the workhorse around this farm. I mean, I cut these big fields with this little tractor. I would have to raise that blade up high, make a cut, and then go back and drop it down a little bit and cut some more, and then drop it down, cut some more. I spent many a Saturdays before we moved out here on this mower all day long. And I tell you what, this has been one hell of a little machine. My mother-in-law had busted out the casing in there. We can't use the rear outdrive there, and we had this tiller on there, a little 4-foot tiller, and it worked good on there, and she was up tilling the garden. Well, my father-in-law, when they got it, the guys told him, hey, you got to cut the drive shaft, you got to measure, see how long you need the drive shaft there, and then cut it off. Guess what? He didn't cut it. So she was up tilling her sister's garden, and she raised it up while it was still running, and where the drive shaft wasn't caught, it bound, and it actually, this housing right here, you can't tell it because it's dirty, but this housing right here is actually new. Inside there, the main case, it busted out some pieces of that. So it's in there, it's usable. The tractor itself is usable with the mower deck. You just can't use this output shaft. So we can't hook anything up on the rear to this rear PTO. So, but other than that, I've done a lot of work on this little mower. A lot of work. I've replaced right under the cover here is one of the pulleys where the blade hooks to. I've replaced the bearings in one of those. This wheel here needs replaced. I replaced one on the other side. I've got the other wheel in there. Just kind of wait until it gets a little bit worse than that. I put 2 new tires on it last summer. 2 new front tires. Fuel lines. Replaced fuel lines. The tank is up under the seat there. You can see it right in there. I've replaced the fuel line from the tank down, new filters into the pump, out of the pump, up here, up to the top. There's another filter right under the hood down in here. Place that filter and then the line off of it up to where it actually goes into the engine. Yeah, I had to replace a lot of stuff. Somehow our headlight lens disappeared. Have no idea where that went to. It's fallen off somewhere. Hydraulic lines. This line here, replaced it last year. Let's see. I've replaced this hydraulic line, this hydraulic line, this hydraulic line. There's 4 here. I don't think I haven't replaced that one yet. But this thing is a 2000 model. It's a 2000 BX 2200 Kubota. And I tell you what, that little motor has, if you're going to go buy a new little tractor, little compact tractor like this to cut grass, if you got a small garden, you get a tiller like that. You just got to make sure you cut the drive shaft right. If you don't need anything big, and no, I'm nobody, and I know, but from experience of working on this thing, operating this thing, this has been a damn good little tractor. I mean, it still is. I mean, yeah, it's slowly falling apart, and I'm having to fix things on it, but that's expected. I mean, you know, a 2000 model, so it's what, 20 years old now? That's pretty daggone good, I think. But it is a beast. It is a nice little four-wheel drive, but it is a nice little piece of equipment. And the newer ones, the new models, if you go check them out, they've changed. For the bucket, your controls for your bucket are actually mounted back here now, so your arm is like right here. You know, when you're sitting there, your arm, you're controlling it from right here instead of having to reach up here. It's all mounted back here, which makes it really nice ergonomics. Other little things they've changed on it, but it is a good little piece. And I gotta definitely get her pressure washed up. You can just see from where it's set, all the dirt mold like on it. I'll get that pressure washed here before long, along with that big one. This tiller isn't working properly for us, so this is something else. Probably be my next videos once the four-wheeler is done. This right in here is a slipper clutch, slipper pad, and man, that thing is chewed up. Look here, that sucker is burnt, chewed plumb up. So in order to get in there to that, I'm gonna have to take this housing off, and I have a feeling, because I'm seeing, you look at all that right there, that dirt, that's oil, gear fluid, and it's all over the top. I have a feeling that that front seal right there is probably blowed out, so I'm probably gonna have to replace that seal, and I'm going to have to replace, I'm sure you can buy them, and if anybody knows where, let me know. I can go to my local Kubota dealer. It's a Land Pride, but if I can buy just that slipper pad in there, so that way I can take that, just replace that pad, replace that slipper pad, and go from there. But yeah, that's some of what I got going on. But it is a beautiful evening. Beautiful evening. Love my farm. Love being out here. Even got some deer over there. But I appreciate you guys hanging with me. Doing this stuff as doing these videos has been a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Doing the actual video itself, not too challenging. I mean, it's not hard to turn the camera on, but trying to get angles and everything set up right for you guys has been really the thing that I've been kind of struggling with, trying to get you the best footage that I can get you, and get you in close and show you exactly what I'm doing. So if you have the same four-wheeler I have, and you're needing to fix what I'm fixing, that hopefully, you know, I can show you good enough that you're able to go in and confidently tear your stuff down, because there are a lot of good videos out there that I have went and watched on doing other things like changing out wheel bearings, you know, all kinds of different stuff I've looked up online. I even looked up, you know, other videos online of people, you know, doing their aligning their front end after they've changed out stuff, or just checking the alignment on it. You know, replacing, like the Polaris Ranger I worked on back here around Christmas time, pulling that diff out of it, taking that diff apart, and changing out that stuff. So, you know, the seals in it and putting it all back together. I looked up videos on that. So, you can leave me comments in the section. If I'm doing, leave me comments. Let me know how I'm doing. If there's anything that you would like to see or anything that I can make better or do it a different way to make it better for you, please let me know. I hope to only get better at doing this and getting my videos better. The challenging part for me, where I was going with it a minute ago, is doing the video editing. Trying to shoot these videos, work on stuff, and then going in and trying to sit down and get everything loaded in there, and then trying to produce the video, edit it, produce it, and then get it online. And yeah, I know my way around a computer decently, enough to get me in trouble, I guess you could say, the old saying is. But as far as sitting down and doing this kind of stuff, I don't have the experience. I don't have, you know, I wasn't trained in it. I don't have that skill set. So, but I'm learning. I'm trying. I am trying also to get my wife to take over that part of it, so I can pretty much shoot the videos, get all the content, let her learn the program and all the different features she can do with that thing, because it has a lot of different features. Of course, a lot of you know, if you're doing YouTube or if you do that for a living, if you edit videos and do all that for a living. So if I can get her to do all that stuff and then frees me up to do this, and I don't have to worry about that part of it, then it gives me a lot more time to think about, okay, what kind of video am I doing next? What do I need to work on? Just all that different kind of stuff. So, ooh, here. Just happened to glance over and seen these wires like that, and look at there. I don't know if you can see or not, but that black wire right there is actually showing through. I don't know about that pink one. I'll have to check those really good. If I have to, I'll just cut them, splice them, solder them back together, and put some new covering over. I bet you anything, that's where that has been, right there under that. Okay, well, that's it. As you can see, oh, I know I said that was it. Sorry, I lied. As you can see, I got the airbox back on. I don't have an air filter. My air filter, well, I'll show you in a second. But anyway, the whole airbox system here, back on, tightened down. Here's the front part of the airbox. I know this thing has a big, getting dusty. But I don't know why it has that exactly, but it has an inlet right up under here. To me, it's kind of overkill. I mean, I don't understand. You got your airbox here. All you need is this tube running up, maybe with a little filter or screen on the end of it. And that would be, I would think, should suffice. I would think, but then again, But anyway, that's all back on. Everything here in the front end is pretty much buttoned up, ready to go. All I need to do is get the header back on, get the exhaust header back on there. Once that exhaust header's on there, I can put the plastics on and be good to go as far as the front. Get the fronts hooked back up, get all the handlebar stuff back on, your little gauge cluster, and that part will be done. I went today, I picked up that can of paint today at Advance, and I'll tell you how all this crazy stuff going on. I was like, there's a couple things I need to pick up to help me get this project done. And I'll show you. I made a list. Let me turn you around. I made a list here. Spark plug, I picked up a spark plug here earlier in the week. Got that, so that's taken care of. Change oil and filter. I need 3.5 quarts. I put down 4 quarts. Change rear diff lube, which I've got it. And I've got the four-wheeler actually turned around too, so I got the rear end facing this way. Sand and paint, muffler, and header. Getting the heat, 1 can of heat paint, which I got that today, so I'm going to be able to scratch that off. Sand and touch up the rear of the frame. Clean oil and air filter. I'm sorry, clean and oil air filter. Install front and rear plastics, front rack and gauges. Install battery and seat. Install tires. Paint rear brake cylinder bracket. That was something I added in. I'll show you that. But let me show you my air filter first. A little dark over here. Don't mind all the ladybugs. They have been congregating in my window and they're finally starting to die. So this will make the 5th time that I've cleaned that off. So anyway, here is my air filter. I don't know how well you can see it. See how this part over here looks really nice and smooth, and then this part really looks rough and bumpy? I put this in warm, soapy water. That was it. Just warm. I took Dawn dishwashing liquid and put it all over the top of it. Alright guys, we're back. It actually is a couple days later, and I did a lot of work outside today. I'm pretty tired. I'm not going to do a lot today. I had to do a lot around the farm, a lot of brush clearing and cutting limbs and all that good fun stuff you do on a farm. Anyway, what I am going to do for tonight is I'm going to get the painted muffler, got it back together, get it on. I haven't taken the tape off of this yet. Go get the header pipe back on. So that's one step closer to getting this unit done. Air filter will be here tomorrow and get that in there. Then my next thing is going to be getting some oil. Got the oil filter. Getting the oil and get it put in. Once I get the exhaust on, next thing is going to be, I noticed this is just, I guess, tape. That's all that is, wrapped around the wires. And I happened to notice, I was like, wow, that's kind of torn. So then I got to looking, and I think I showed it in the first part of the video, but you can actually see wires on that red wire. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this stuff back. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Yep, the black one, I can see wires too. I'm going to go ahead and cut these and solder them back together and then tape them back up. I just got to find my heat shrink tubing. What in the world is that thing? I'll have to see what that is here in a minute. That looks like some kind of auxiliary plug. That'd be nice. Alright, so let's get going. Let's get this unit back together here. Oh, heat shrink tubing. Let's see if I can find some heat shrink tubing. This is my little RC race box here. There we go. There, perfect. What I need. Yeah, I've got quite a bit. I got plenty. Got plenty. Plenty. Alright. I guess first thing, we're going to get the exhaust on first. I want to get that done, get that out of the way. I'm going to move you around over here. Hopefully you're going to be able to see. Oh, you will be able to see. First off, I want to show you right there. I'm missing one of these rubber grommets. I found the grommet and it was actually split in half. But if you look in there, there's a metal sleeve. There's a washer with like a sleeve on it. And it goes through that grommet. And guess what? I can't find it. So I was looking at ordering one. I started to order it last night, and then I didn't. I should have went ahead and ordered it today, so that way I'd had it by the end of the week. But I didn't order it. I'm going to try to find something so I can get these plastics back on the front end. Because once the header's on here, I can get all that back together. I won't need them all for anything else. So, but anyway, let's work on this exhaust here. I'm gonna set you down. Get you adjusted up where you can see there. Hopefully you can see that. Pull my rag out. I'm coming, I promise. Getting a socket and the bolts here. Get a little stool. I know I should have been a little more prepared, shouldn't I? I thought I was. And I hadn't even taken the tape off this yet. This header paint worked out really good. Made this looking pretty good. Ah, looky there. Man, that looks good. No paint on the aluminum here. Turned out really good. We're just hanging out, having fun anyway, aren't we? Alright, tape's off. And guess what? I didn't grab my gasket. Grab my handy dandy light. Push it up in there. All right. Now I've got to remember how to fish this thing. This thing was a little bit tricky to get out of here. Trying to remember how to fish it, how I fished it out. Might have to move the light out of the way for a minute. Let's see. I don't think we got it. Yeah. Oh, look, there it is. There we got her. Yep. Turn the light around. Better get this bolt starter straight. I don't want to cross thread that sucker. That's the one thing I don't want to do, that's for sure. Daggone hat's getting in the way. Well, now I'm probably in your way. Like being a little bit of a booger here. They don't make it easy to work on these things, that's for damn sure. I can't turn it. Trying to see what I'm doing here and trying to turn this at the same time. There we go. Now I'm gonna swing around the other side and get the other one started. That's what it was. Oh. Now, before I go any farther with that, we'll go ahead and stick this muffler on here. Looks like that one's going to start first. Kind of tricky right there. There it is. All right. Now I just got to remember what I pulled these springs here off with. I think I'm going to try to use the seal puller. That worked. Got one on. Bet you that was supposed to go around the other way. Oh well. Boom, there it is, spark flying, everything. Those brackets are where they're supposed to be. That sucker's tight. Not going anywhere. Alright, yeah, I took my hat off to see my ugly head. Now all I have to do is finish tightening them down. Tell you what I did forget to do. I forgot to look in the book at the torque specs. So, how about we go look in the book real quick at the torque specs. Let's see. Move all the junk like always. Open a little bit. I'm just wobbling you around every which direction on it. Down now. The old Arctic Cat manual. Alright, all the torque specs. Back here in the back. Tightening torque general bolts. So it's probably, guys. So it is the next day, and I apologize for the video cutting off. I don't know. The only thing I can figure that happened is my battery, when I ended the video last night, was down to like 15%. I thought it was still recording. I guess it wasn't. I don't know. Just a little recap. Because it didn't show where I fixed the wires that I had showed earlier in the video. So I'm just going to show you here real quick. Got the exhaust on, header's torqued down, everything's nice and solid there, so that's done. And I'll bring it back over here real quick. I'll show you, this is where it left off, because I went to the book to get the torque spec for the exhaust. And in this manual, it has engine and transmission. This is for the 650H1, 400 and 500 automatic transmission, and it gives you the torque specs for, you know, clutch shoes, clutch cover housing, crankcase half, 6mm crankcase half, 8mm cylinder head 6mm, 8mm cylinder head cover, so on and so on. So anyway, the exhaust pipe was 14 foot-pounds. So, you see that. So anyway, this is where I got my torque specs from. And where I, got that torque down, got that taken care of. Then I moved on to fixing the wiring. And it's all fixed up. What I did was I went in and I cut the wires, the two wires, ended up the black and the pink were rubbed through, and you could see the copper wire inside. So I went in, just cut them right where they were damaged, and then stripped them, put them together, soldered them, put some heat shrink tubing up over them, shrink that down, and then I took black electrical tape and retaped this back up, and then put a new zip tie and left it a little looser, so that way, it's got movement there, and hopefully it won't do that again. I hope. And that was all I pretty much did. That was pretty much the end of the video there. Again, I apologize. I don't know why that thing cut off like it did, unless it was because the battery was down there so low. I've been using this little power pack, and so I got it from Walmart. It's like $9, I think it was, and you can charge. It's got 2 USB adapters there, and what I would do is plug the GoPro cord right there into this, and then plug it into the side, and then I would just strap it onto the side of my little stand here that I got, and it would give me, I could record a lot longer. You can see here, that's what I was doing, was working on the video to try to get it uploaded. And so that's some of my other struggles I've been having. Other good thing is my air filter came in today. It's a Moose Racing air filter. I ordered it off of eBay. I think I paid $15.95 for it, I think is what I got it for. And it seems to be a pretty nice air filter, 2-stage, like the other one. So I will get some oil on it, air filter oil on it, and get that put in. So that's going to be the end of the video. I apologize that it got cut off and we missed out. You missed out on seeing me doing that wiring part of it. But you didn't miss a whole lot. So, but I do apologize. I'm trying to get better at my videos. I promise. I promise you I am. So I didn't really work on anything today. I had to go run to town and go to Tractor Supply and pick up some feed and stuff for the animals and potty pads, all that good stuff. And time I got back, I was like, I'm just gonna work on the video a little bit and maybe sit outside this evening and enjoy this beautiful evening. It is very beautiful out this evening. So anyway, guys, with that, I'll leave you with a picture of the beautiful evening. You guys enjoy, be safe, take this COVID-19 thing serious, please stay healthy, and we'll see you in another video. Thank you, guys.